Steve Swift. The boxing news brought to you. Steve Swift, the rambling review man.
Ding 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 ding. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second incarnation of Steve Swift's The Business of Boxing. Yes, Business of Boxing. I have some notes here. You might see my eye going down there to my crotchal area. It's okay. The rash has now disappeared. The cream cleaned it up. Not really, I'm only joking. Anyway, I've now got past my first fight and did rather well. I mean, one of the cards had it fairly wide, 147.22. And that was the judge, Dave Bwift. He's not my cousin. He looks like me, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, well-known judge, Dave Bwift. Now, we've decided, the powers that be, the top brass, have decided that you're going to get a couple of me every week. Look at that, it's not really curling very well, my tash today. I haven't got the tash wax. I have tash wax. Oh, I do have tash wax, but I haven't done it today, so it looks fairly curly, but not. This side's looking all right, but this side's looking. It's aspiring to a curl, but not really curling. Anyway, when I see you later in the week, perhaps I'll be able to curl a bit more. So, you're going to see me twice, not just the once, twice. We're going to have shorter rounds, but more of them. So, this is going to be the new dawning of Steve Swift's Business of Boxing. Fort Law, live audio wrestling, yes. And me mates, the Tidster and Uncle Brady. Uncle Brady! So, we're going to break it into two. And the first one is going to be around the boxing of boxing. There might be some business of boxing in there, gents and ladies, if I may use that phrase, which I have already. So you're going to have the boxing of boxing for the matches that occur. If there aren't any, well, of course, I'll always go looking for some because I love boxing so much. But if there aren't any, I'll talk more about the business of boxing. And I'll probably go on about Ryan Garcia because I said his name already. We're not even in the business of boxing, are we? Anyway, the boxing of boxing. So that's going to be the first bit. And the business of boxing is going to be the second one later in the week. I think I've explained that extremely well. Now, he said, curling his tash a little. Washed my hair yesterday as well. Can't do anything with it. Not looking too bad, though. It's lying a little flat. You know, when it gets a bit greasier, then actually it gets curlier. Isn't that weird? I have some sea salt spray. So maybe I could put some sea salt spray on this. But not while I'm doing this video for you. Video, he said, old school style. Now, let me talk about the match that I want to discuss this week, if I have to, which it seems I do have to, he said, looking down at his crotchal area for his notes. Not that I really need them, because I kind of think, what's the point? I don't kind of think that, I do think that. This is Jake Paul, who was supposed to fight Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson's got an ulcer, hasn't he? So you can't really. I mean, he passed all the tests. He got a license to fight in Texas, wasn't it? And then he had an ulcer problem. Has that not come up on the tests? I think he'll be all right. Well, you're going to have to tell Jake Paul not to hurt the body, which he did actually in this match. Very well, this fight, very well. I've got no issue with his work. I've just got an issue with the fights themselves. I don't want to see him fight Mike Tyson. And I don't want to see him fight a different Mike Perry, who apparently is a bare-knuckle boxer, and has led me to watch some bare-knuckle boxing. Curse you, Jake and Mike. Because it's forced me to go and have a look. It hasn't forced me, no one forced me. I went to have a look at bare-knuckle boxing. Oh, it's rotten. But more of that on a future podcast. I could do bare-knuckle boxing for this show. And maybe, that's boxing of a type. So, back to this, which was Mike Perry, bare-knuckle boxer, who didn't win here. I didn't give you a spoiler alert. I think you will know. And didn't offer much resistance, really, to Jake Paul. And the interesting thing is, by the way, because he's not offered that much resistance, he's been fired. You're fired! By Conor McGregor. Apparently he did it like that. You're fired! Like that, with a shaky finger. I don't know if he did it like that, but it would have been funny if he had. And from his bare knuckle boxing federation, which I did look up the name of, and the name escapes me, and I can't be bothered to look at it again. Why should I? This fight was terrible, just because it's really Jake Paul saying, look at me, I can do this. And yeah, he can do it. So, right from the beginning, he's got good movement. He gets a body shot in there early on. He put Mike Perry down in the first round with an overhand right. That overhand right was available to him throughout this fight, which went 6 rounds. I think it was 10 rounds. It was scheduled for 10 rounds, wasn't it? It was there for the whole time. He hit some hooks. Mike Perry started to look a bit worried. He started to look slightly worried, as if to say, I think there might be a bit of a gap here. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because one of the most interesting things, which they didn't cover at all, really, as far as I could see, is what's the difference between bare knuckle boxing and boxing, where you've got the gloves on. Well, the difference is that bare knuckle boxing seems, or depending on which promotion you watch, I presume, to be able, you can have dirty boxing, so you can clinch and all that kind of stuff. Well, you can clinch in boxing, but you can't clinch and keep beating people up, although some boxers like to. So he did really knock him about a bit, Jake Paul, in this. But the fight was really sold on, and luckily, really, Mike Perry just keeps getting up. As they said in commentary, is he some kind of zombie? I mean, it can't be long before we get to zombie boxing. Where you get a necromancer who brings back, I don't know, Joe Lewis, or, someone like that, or and then they fight a boxer who's not dead. The undead versus the not dead. That kind of thing, Hailing from a graveyard near you, coming down the aisle, weighing in at a trim 1 pound, that sort of thing. So anyway, with all the tag team boxing, it can't be long before someone's saying, why don't we get zombie boxers? Anyway, it was about Mike Perry just walking through stuff. So he got peppered with shots. I mean, he just walked up to him. There was no movement. There was no, I'm coming to you and there'll be some head movement and see if you can hit me and I'll hit you. There was no, I'm now retreating on an angle. Perhaps that might be a good idea. There was just, I'm walking back in straight lines here. So you can just do what you want. A big overhand right from Jake Paul put him down again, which was set up with a body shot in that second round. In the third, they were just talking about Mike Perry as a survivor. Jake Paul looked a bit tired at this point between rounds. By the fifth, he got his wind back and he got a second wind, really, and all that. But got all the CDs behind me. Nice, that, isn't it? Been wanting to show you those for ages. I just wanted to show you that. It's quite a library, that. It's only a small amount of what I have. A small amount. And I've given loads of them away. Because, you can't... It's all virtual now, ain't it? Maybe that's the next thing we can do for fighting. Anyway, he actually got some shots in, Perry, in that third round. He got a left in there. Jake Paul had a cut above his left eye, I think it was. What Perry needed to do was mess this up. He needed it to be dirty. He needed to come out in that way. And he did in that third round. But by the fourth, you got Jake Paul swinging for the fences, hitting with a right hook. Perry wobbled a bit. Whoa, whoa, that sort of thing. Jake Paul used the jab very efficiently throughout, hitting with a tough combo. By the sixth, he had a jab and a left hook, which put Perry down. I mean, he was down several times. I can't remember how many. Was it 4? and he didn't get up from that one in the 6th. But the doctor checked him as well in the 5th, I think it was. But anyway, Jake Paul showed us that he can box. But he's not boxing. Not really. Okay, he's going out there and doing that boxing thing, but is he really boxing? Not really, and I'll tell you why. Because he doesn't seem to know what he wants. I know I keep saying this, and I'll bang on about it over and over again. Banging on! Because is he going to say to us, all right, I know I make a load of money as an influencer, but with this boxing thing, I really want to be a boxer. I love the training. I love the boxing. It's not curling anymore, is it? It's still not curling. I'm a bit worried about it. I might have a broken moustache here. I might have to have a splint on it or something. Blimey, moustache splint to the ready! Anyway, he is saying that he enjoys being a boxer. When he lost to Tommy Fury, he said this loss will make me a stronger fighter, and I'll really go and become a fighter. And there are two choices, aren't there? There is, you're not going to make much money because you're going to have small fights with not very many people there, fighting boxers who are good for your style and who can give you the wins you need to rack up to become a contender. Now, there's an A side and a B side here, and anybody fighting Jake Paul is going to be the B side. So there's all that to take into consideration, isn't there? I'm not going to use the journeyman word. Oh, I did already. But, you can have a conversation about that if you want. And the walk around word. Yeah, we can have a conversation about that if you want me to explain it. Please do put your comments in and I will explain it. But you can have that, which is not going to make you much money. Or you can have, I'm going to fight big people, or people. No, the people pleasing Paul. That like Nate Diaz and Mike Tyson. That's going to make me some money. Because there's nothing wrong with that. It's about money. Part of this is about money. But you either want to be a boxer or you want to be an influencer boxer, and you can't do both. You really can't. And that is why I fear for people like Tyson Fury, and that is why I fear for AJ, because of the Francis Ngannou stuff. And at any time it can derail the business of boxing can derail your boxing of boxing. And Jake Paul looked good. But Perry didn't offer anything. So there's no real test, is there? You've had one real test and you lost. That's it. If we come down to it, that's it, isn't it? And that's what we're looking at. It wasn't a good fight. Jake Paul, it looked to me, or it sounded to me, like he was booed when he was announced. Now, I could be wrong, but certainly Perry was the underdog who kept getting up. And we like that, don't we? Well, the Brits certainly do. And it seemed like the crowd there enjoyed that as well. If he was booed, then he's got to be thinking, what does that say about my brand? And what can I do? And maybe I need to come up with a bigger fight, which is why perhaps he said, I still want to fight Mike Tyson in November, but he'd still be the heel, wouldn't he? Because Tyson is older and not done this for a while. And if he won, it would be a bigger story. And, if you're really in the ascendancy and you're doing well with the fight, you are basically fighting a man who's nearly 60. You're beating him up, aren't you? That's not a good look. So that will really, that will affect the brand, which will then affect the choices you make for the boxing of boxing. But if we're talking about the boxing of boxing, I'm not sure we can with influencer boxing. Can we? Ta-ta.
sportcards.com, the best in Canada. NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, Pokemon, UFC, WWE. TotalSportCards.com, the hobby's best friends. That's TotalSportCards.com.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.
sure to click that subscribe button, click that like button, and tell all of your friends. Share it with everybody. We appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us. So let's make this thing even bigger.